Hey guys, it's TF Nut. Welcome back to the channel. And every Friday in the month of October, I'll be taking a look at a previously released or new, if I can make it work, NECA Ultimate 7-inch related horror related action figure. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Horror of Dracula, well, the titular character of Dracula in the NECA 7-inch Ultimates line. Watched this film recently. I actually quite like it. I think it's a little too short, and I wish there was more screen time of Christopher Lee as Dracula, because he's great when he's on screen in this movie. But next week is just a spoiler alert. It's going to be Van Helsing, and I can't wait for that one because Van Helsing was great in the movie too. I mean, Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, I mean, that's just a match made in heaven when it comes to casting. Anyway, the packaging here looks really nice. It's like this old retro poster. It says, "Who will be his bride tonight?" Very creepy illustration of Dracula there. That lady there too. It does say Horror of Dracula Ultimate action figure. Now on this side, as well as the opposite side, it's going to be the same exact image. I believe that's not an image of the figure. That is from the actual movie. The Hammer Films, and I think Hammer Films made a Frankenstein movie. I wonder if they'll, NECA will ever make that figure. I don't know. But it says NECA in Real Toys. Looking on top of the packaging here, it does just pretty much have the eyes from the front of that poster. Horror of Dracula. And then you do have 17 and up. Warning, choking hazard. On the bottom here, ignore the sticky part here. I took the price sticker off. Just know these things are pushing $40 now, so just keep that in mind. But the rest of this here, that is pretty much the credits. Then we do have barcode in case you need that. It does say Hammer Films at the bottom as well. And then all these images here are just different posing and images that you get with the accessories of Dracula here. And the very bottom there shows off or just tells you what all this will come with. Now, opening up the flap, very nice stoic looking image of Christopher Lee's Dracula. Inside there, very nice look at all the accessories. And you kind of can't see the backdrop, but kind of looks like his hall in his castle. Let's go ahead and get this figure out of the packaging. And here is the figure out of the packaging, and I'm digging this quite a bit. I think some people might think this is a little too plain looking. I can kind of understand that. The accessories are definitely going to help with that. But overall, I mean, this looks like how it looked in the movie. So he looks really great, and I'm really digging it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories. Then we'll take a closer look at the figure. Now I'm just going to give you a couple of quick shots of what some of these accessories look like with Dracula. He doesn't really come with a lot of stuff. I guess it comes with just as much as you need. I don't really remember him using some of this stuff. But stuff like the alternate hands and heads are definitely very welcome for this exact version of the character. Especially those heads are just fantastic. And then we do have a cape in all of these images that you see here. Speaking of, this is how the cape is done. I think it's pretty similar to the Bela Lugosi, the one that NECA made a while ago. We have this plastic section here that's just this black plastic, and then they did put some details of these ties right there. The rest of this is a fabric piece. It's a nice soft fabric type of piece. There's no bendy wire or anything, but it's still like trimmed very nicely. I do think this is going to catch a lot of lint, but it just feels like a really good high quality piece of fabric. It's not the hardest to do on camera, but just pop the head off, pop this on there, and then be careful because there's already a little bit of skin tone. Let me see if it's actually in there. Not really. I saw some skin tone in there a little bit. This paint, the paint on this figure does tend to flake, but we'll get to that in a second. But just pop the heads off gently, pop this in there, pop a head back on, and then you're good to go when it comes to the mask, or the, what am I saying mask for? The cape. So we have one of these alternate heads that I'm really digging. This one has more bloodshot eyes, and you have, still the hair is rather clean looking, a little bit of some gray streaks on the sides there, a little bit of gray streaks on the top as well, and then we do have the back of the hair there, which all looks really good. I think this is how the hair is going to look on the neutral figure, or the neutral head, so we'll take a look at that. But great vampire fangs and blood coming down the mouth there. They did a really great job with the blood detailing the paint all the way on the mouth, and then his facial expressions look great. This is a very realistic looking figure right here. I'm really digging how that looks. Then we get this head, which I like the head I just showed off, but I like this even more. This is just him crazy-eyed. I feel like he's looking off to the left a little bit. The mouth is even more open, see where you can see the tongue. There's even more blood paint in there. Looks fantastic. The hair is a little bit more messier. I think this is more towards the end of the film. Yeah, I mean, there's still some gray streaks in there, but they did such a great job of detailing. I think some of the black on the hair is coming onto the skin tone a little bit, but not by much. And yeah, God, that just looks so well done. I really dig it. We do have alternate hands too. So the figure comes packaged with these more open, expressive hands, which we'll talk about in a little bit. Oh my God, the autofocus there. We do have 2 gripping hands here, and then the paint on these will flake off as well. But I do like the pinky ring on this gripping hand, but this is a much smaller grip, so it's really not going to hold the candlestick, which I'll show off in a second. This is a much larger grip though, so this will hold the shovel it comes with. Fingernails are actually nicely detailed. The detailing of all those wrinkles in the palms, around the thumb, on the outside of the hand too, with what's going on with those wrinkles too. That looks fantastic. Then you get this hand here, which I didn't show off in the images yet. I'll show off in the image towards the end of the review. This thing is more of like a pointer hand. I'm sure he could hold an accessory in this hand is what I'm trying to say, but this is definitely more of a pointer finger. It still looks really good. I really dig pretty much everything about it. Again, the hands have really great detailing with like these veins on the back there. And you have a lot of detailing on the palms too. It just looks fantastic. Then we have this shovel. Again, you know what? I do remember it's towards the end of the film. He's trying to bury someone. Paint flaking off there, unfortunately. This is really nice looking. It almost has like bronze effect to it a little bit more rusty up here and a little bit of gray. And lots of detailing and texturing going on there. On the back has a little bit more dirt and a lot more texturing there. Then you get this entire handle here, very nice long handle. Has this bottom section right here. Just getting closer at it. You can see where it has a little bit more of this like metallic type of paint here, like this bronze. And then it's more like a gray handle with some very muted brown in there. The camera's a little out of focus. That just looks incredible, I think. Last but not least, we do have 2 of the same sculpts for these candlesticks. They're done a little bit differently, of course, as you can see. So this one here, not lit as much, and you have a small little wick going on there with a little bit of orange and yellow. Looks like you could chalk that up to the wick melting a bit, but we have a little bit of paint going on there. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like that. Yeah, with that candle stick type of paint on there. This whole handle looks fantastic though. Or it's not really a handle. The whole thing it's a great looking candlestick. And then this one here is more of like the flame is out of control. This is a softer plastic actually. I feel like it would have been a more tough, more rigid plastic, but it's a good thing it is a softer plastic in case something happens. You may accidentally snap something if it was a different type of material. This you don't have to really worry about too much. It's a little bit translucent. I can kind of see some pegs, and this here pegging into the flame effect there. Nice orangish and reddish going on there. Yeah, that's like, again, a little bit of a bronzed effect going on. This just looks great. All the accessories are really nice here. Here is what this figure looks like with this head sculpt right out of the box. This neutral expression may seem boring, but this is a fantastic looking Christopher Lee likeness. This looks just like him in that movie, I think. It looks great. A little bit of a stubble going on here. Nice lip color too. Really digging the normal eyes here. It's like a little bit of shadow I feel like going on in the eyes as well. The eyebrows look good. Lots of wrinkles and different types of texturing and definition going on in like the cheeks, around the like nose ridge and all that, around the forehead too, in between the eyebrows. Just looks great. Then we do have the more white right here and on top here. Also some white there for the streaks in the hair. But we also do have some black mixed in there. I feel like this has the better proportions of gray mixed in with black, where the other ones, I feel like they kind of, maybe I'm crazy. Yeah, I feel like it just cuts off to black a little more on the alternate heads, where I feel like I see a little bit more of gray going on in the head sculpts here. So really digging that. This nice, I wouldn't say it's an ascot, but this little section right here of what could be a scarf has like this nice translucent, like purplish, bluish hue to it. There's like a red speck in there. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that. It kind of looks like it is, but I could be wrong about that. The collar's got some nice white going on there, and then this neck piece is just kind of a plain looking piece there. But then you have the rest of the outfit. It's just mostly in a black color, just one tone of black. I really dig how the buttons look, though. I also like this detail where there's all these buttons that are separated here, and the farther down you go, the more that they stay separated. So really digging that. Nice wrinkles on the front here, nice pockets on the side and on the back here. There's not a lot of detailing, but we do have a little bit of some wrinkles in there, but I don't think there's much shading. Maybe a little bit of blue in some areas, but that might also just be a trick of the light. Then you also get the forearm pieces, though. Lots of wrinkles going on towards the elbows. And then, I mean, the elbow section here does look a little distracting when it comes to that joint, but they can't help that too much. Really digging the buttons again on the cuff right there of the coat pocket. Not coat pocket, just the coat. I don't really know what I'm talking about. My brain is fried. I'm getting over a flu. So there's a button here too, I think. These are more of these open hands. They wouldn't really be relaxed. They're very expressive hands. You have this pinky ring right there that does look fantastic. That's what the inside of that hand looks like. Then you get to this side and you have this more expressive hand there as well. All that I think looks rather sick. I feel like a little bit of black and white is bleeding onto each other where it shouldn't be, but it isn't super noticeable. Again, great wrinkles on these coat arms. Looks great. You can kind of move this a little bit. Actually, no, you can't. This is all like one piece of a section of plastic right there. A little bit of wrinkling in the crotch area. This is going to be a soft plastic piece there. Going all the way down, you have these long, I don't really know if these are wrinkles or it's part of the pantsuit. These long line sections going all the way down there. And then you do have a little bit of the seam line all the way on the sides and inside as well. There's also seam lines. Great wrinkles all throughout. Again, it's just really one tone of black. A little bit of some wrinkles in the butt there too, but still looks really fantastic. And then you do also get down to the shoe section as well. There's this really nice glossy type of material they're using for the I guess paint finish, or it could be for the plastic too. On the shoes there with some stitching on the top there, looking great. The bottom of the feet just have peg holes. There's not really much to talk about with how this looks. It's a dude in a tuxedo basically, but it still looks pretty fantastic. I do think articulation could be better, but it's not the worst. We do have a dumbbell joint, I think, going on in here, and then there's separate neck articulation going into the torso. So you get this combined range of motion going out here. I feel like the head might want to pop off a little too easily, so it kind of makes this and the alternate heads look like it's a little bit of like a bobblehead almost. Down that far, side to side there, and then a swivel there. I'm sure you can swivel it at the neck here, but I'm going to have trouble doing that. So not the greatest range of motion, not too bad though. Going all the way out there, not bad at all. Still, we do have arms that go all the way around. We have a single joint elbow that gets a little over 90 and it swivels a little bit in the elbow socket. Swivel at the wrist, hinge at the wrist. I believe that's for all. No, so the only one that has, they all have a hinge going in and out, except for this right hand that's gripping. It goes up and down. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, just double checking. So I feel like we should have we have a little bit of a ball joint going on the torso, but all this soft plastic is going to get in the way. So you could swivel it definitely a little bit side to side. Forward and back could be better. Definitely could be better. Then that doesn't really kick all the way out because of this soft plastic piece, but you can, you don't really, it's okay back motion for that. The separation of the thighs, it's not going to be a perfect split, but that's not too bad. Then we do have thigh swivel going on in here, which I've actually seen it worse on previous figures. We do have a 90-degree bend at the knee there, swivels there too. These are a little tight, so be careful, but there is going into the leg here a swivel at the ankle. We do have an ankle rocker, and it can hinge. I'm having a lot of trouble hinging up, but in down is not great either. So I feel like a lot of the range of motion is just not great here. You don't need him to do too many crazy poses, but I still wish it wasn't as limited. Measuring out this figure, we're looking at about 19 centimeters. So that is going to put this just under 7.5 inches tall. Out of the stuff I've reviewed so far for this month, he's going to be the shortest out of the Michael and the Metaluna Mutant I've already reviewed. Then on the far left and far right, when it comes to standard size Marvel Legends and Black Series respectively, they're going to be much shorter, of course. Overall, I am digging this figure. I made it sound like it's kind of plain just because it kind of is. It's just a dude in a tuxedo, but it looks just like Christopher Lee, and I think it looks fantastic. The optional parts are really nice too, with the cloak, the different hands, and I like that it does come with other accessories that he can hold. I just don't remember some of them. I mean, the shovel was definitely an important part. So it's good that it does come with stuff that isn't just hands, heads, and a cloak. I think it's a little expensive, though. I think a lot of things are a little expensive lately. This is pushing $40, though. Do I think it's better than the Bela Lugosi version as well from NECA? I don't know. I think that one, it might be a little better. But this is still a great one if you're a fan of Christopher Lee's portrayal of Dracula and you wanted a figure. Now is your chance to pick one up. It's relatively easy to find, and I really do like it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you think with the figure, what you think with the review. Leave a like, share amongst your friends. Follow me on Instagram for more content over there, and I'll see you guys later.